What is up, everybody? This is Omegabalmung here with, of course, it's been a while. I've been just way too busy and whatnot. So, of course, this is a comic book pickups of the week of the March. What is this week? Like 10th. This is like the 14th or something. 14th or 15th. It depends on when you see this. Depends on when this gets uploaded. But, anyways. I got this one pretty late because I finally finished my books, and I finally getting to make these videos. It's been a while. I've been a little bit too busy lately, and finally, you know, spring semester is kind of winding down a bit for me. So now it's kind of like we're in the middle of the semester. We're almost done. There's a few more weeks left, but I finally got my comic books all read up and whatnot. But like I said, I'm going to change the formula a bit. I won't talk about too much about the comic books until I get to the last, final three that I think everybody should pick up. Those are the ones I'll talk a little bit more about, but I don't know how in depth I'm going to go about it. So, like I said, I try to keep it sweet and short. I kind of gotten through a deal of just getting maybe 10-ish comics per week. Not going like 20 like I used to go. So I'm going to try to keep it short like that. Maybe I'll have to button down that a little bit to a more smaller one. Maybe about 5 or 6 books. So make it a little bit shorter so it's easier to read. It's easier to get to know the comic books itself instead of getting all these stories stuck in my head. And, you know, kind of wonder about all these things. I could kind of keep it nice and short. But anyways, of course, the first book is The Southern Cross, issue 1, which is by Image Comics. Of course, it's a new. I feel like Image and it feels like everybody is kind of getting these books out there. We've seen a lot of ones, first issues for the past few weeks. So I'm just picking them up and I'm just reading through them like, maybe we'll get something cool to come along. So like I said, Southern Cross from Image. Issue 1. Next up is from DC Comics, Superman Batman, World's Finest. This is a pretty cool book. I just don't like the art of the book that well, but you get to see a little bit of what's happening in the World's Finest, which is kind of weird because they kind of phased that World's Finest with the Huntress and Power Girl out since it went back to their world. So they kind of went to the Superman and Batman theme, which they just put it together. Because Superman and Batman also had their own book. Actually, I think it was Batman and Superman. That was the other one. So I guess it's the other way around. Superman and Batman. Next up is one shot from DC Comics. This one is Batman, of course, Detective Comics Endgame. And it's a pretty cool book. I got to see some pretty cool stuff. You get to see a lot of the cool Batman characters. I think what you see this is you see Batgirl, Batwoman, a Red Robin, and oh man, what is her name? I can't remember her name. Oh my gosh, I don't remember, but it's a pretty cool series. I guess this is kind of one shot. I think everybody's getting an end game kind of deal before Convergence starts. And that starts in June or something. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And if you haven't seen any of the new suits or new makeover that the Justice, well, at least Batman, Superman. There's like 6 so far. I think it was Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and who was the other? Green Arrow. They released those out. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check them out. They're pretty much plastered everywhere. IGN, comic book resource, and stuff like that. So next up is Batman: Arkham Knight. This is the prequel to the game Arkham Knight, which is coming out soon. I think in a few months, maybe next month, or maybe in 2 months. It's one of those times. But this is the prequel to it. You do see a little bit of the Arkham Knight in here. He's a badass. That's all I can say. So, I don't want to ruin anything. So, if you don't really want to know what's going to lead up into the story, I said just stay away from this book. But if you don't really care too much about it, I said go ahead and read it. It kind of wraps up a little bit from a lot of the other Batman games. So next up is The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 16. Now Spider-Man is back again from the Spider-Verse universe. the Spider-Verse arc that they did. So it's pretty cool stuff. It's kind of weird to see him come back to himself being just messing everything up as usual, as what Peter Parker does. So it's kind of weird because it went from that to coming back from a Superior to Amazing Spider-Man, then having this big old event that happens, and then him going back to what he was happening before the Spider-Verse. So it's kind of weird to kind of see that, because it was so cool to see all the Spider-Mans and all them in different universes come together and fight one big bad guy. And it's kind of weird now to see him by himself again. It's just weird, because it's something that you got to get used to getting back into. Next up is from Dynamite Comics. These are these cool little altered states. They're all one-shots. I don't remember. There was one for Doc Savage, Vampire, I think that's what her name was, and Red Sonja. There's one more comic book that I just can't think of off the top of my head. But these are like what happens if something, it's in a different era. Like in this one, she's in this era now, and then she grabs a sword of, I guess, what Sonja had, and then she becomes Red Sonja again, and it's pretty cool to see that happen. I'm pretty sure all the books it's kind of close to that, where you look at a different version of them, and then how they became what they are. So that's pretty cool. Next up is Who is Thor? Who is Thor from Marvel Comics issue 6. It's just Thor, but on the cover it says Who is Thor. Looks like we're going to get hopefully soon, we'll get a look at who is going to be, they're going to reveal who the woman Thor is. I have to say woman Thor, but who is Thor? Of course, Odin's son or Thor now is called Odin's son. That's his name. Is just kind of normal now. So we're going to hopefully figure out who this current Thor is, and if she does play a big role in the Civil War and all the Secret War or whatever, Civil War and all that. So the Secret War. So we'll see what happens. And hopefully soon, because we're 6 issues in, and I'm still like, oh, come on, I just want to see who that is. But it's a good way to sell comics and things like that, and get people to read more and more. It's got me to read more and more. I'm just like, I just want to see who it is. Next up is from Marvel Comics issue 2, and of course the cool, and I think she's cool, Spider-Gwen. I just love how the colors and everything is. It's like neon colors. It's totally different from a lot of the like Amazing Spider-Man. It's more of a bright color book, while Spider-Gwen is more like darkerish tone, but with neon and things like that. But of course, it starts off from the last issue where she's fighting Vulture, and now she's kind of going through in her head. She's kind of battling herself. And that's all I can say is she's kind of, in this issue, she's kind of battling herself and her demons, and you get to see a Spider-Ham in here, so it's pretty cool. And next up is The Surface from Image Comics. And this is also another issue, another one issue, or first issue deal. You got these kids, I guess, or people living in the future where it's kind of we're using all the resources, and now they're kind of going out and trying to see if they can find some mythical land, and fortunately they do find it at the end of the book, so I guess that's a spoiler ahead. and it's like that. Maybe I'll pick up the next issue. It didn't really grip me that much, other than I just want to kind of see if this mythical land that they found, is it true? Is it just made up? Is it in their heads? Who knows? But of course, I do have 3 more comics to go, and they are my top picks of this week. So, like I said, I do definitely want you guys to check these comic books out. And I'm pretty sure if you're into DC and Marvel and all that, so you would know them already, of course. But these are my favorite ones from this week, and like I said, they are my favorite ones. These books that I went through aren't bad. But like I said, these ones to me was a lot better, and I had fun reading them. First off is from Action Comics, from DC Comics, is Action Comics issue 40. We get a look at Bizarro World in the new Action Comics here, which is pretty cool. I liked it because Superman gets transported over to Bizarro World, the Bizarro World universe. Everything is this, this the world, you know, is supposed to be round, but in Bizarro World it's square. So it's the opposite of whatever you say. So he's beating up Superman. He's like, "You're my friend, Superman," or "You're my friend," and then it really means you're my enemy. And then they are the bad guys, which is the good guy because they like it in. They like to be injured. So the people in Metropolis, I guess, I don't remember what city it's called, but we'll just call it Metropolis. So that's what it's supposed to be. They like to be injured and beat around. And you got Metello stopping them, who is really just the normal person there, and everything's kind of going the opposite way. Metello's the good guy while they're the bad guys, but at the same time, they like being injured, they like having the places destroyed. Metello doesn't want that to happen because he's just like, he hates it. And he's like, because it's kind of dirty. It's just all over the place, and it's pretty cool. And we get to see Bizarro fight against Doomsday, and he becomes the Doomsday. Kind of like how Superman became Superman Doomsday kind of deal. He becomes Bizarro's Doomsday. Instead of wrecking their planet, he unleashes like bunnies and trees and stuff to make the place looks all. I had fun reading this. I was laughing throughout the whole time, just seeing how Superman's like, oh yeah, he's fighting Bizarro. And he's like, I am your friend. And he's like, oh wait, that's not how you fight him. You're supposed to say the other side. I'm your enemy. And he's like, oh, you're my enemy. And he stops fighting. It's just funny like that. So I had fun reading the book. That's where I enjoyed it. It was just funny. Another take in of course, Bizarro, and hopefully we get to see. I think, if I remember right, he gets his own issue. If I saw that in the ads towards the end of the book, I think he gets his own issue. So I really got to check that out. Next up is the Amazing Spider-Man special from Marvel Comics, issue 1. Like the Action Comics, I had fun reading this because Spider-Man's back, or this is, I guess, another off-take of what's happening. You have some people, I don't remember what they are, invading New York, or Atlantean, or what's that place called for the Inhumans? And you have Medusa and, of course, Inhumans helping them out, or they're really attacking that. And Spider-Man thinks they're attacking, New York, but it isn't. But it was just funny, seeing Spider-Man say all those things. Like, there's a part where he's thinking, like, oh, maybe why are they always attacking New York? You have the Fantastic Four, and then why aren't they never here? You have the Avengers, you have Daredevil. Oh wait, he's a San Fran. You have all these people, and they're like, oh yeah, the Avengers are probably away, and just things like that. He'll talk to himself. And then when he finally meets Medusa, he's like, oh, I think I'm in love. Do I have something wrong with am I always in love with people, or if ladies with red hair? And he's all like trying to like be really quiet, trying to invite her out to like movies and things like that. It's hilarious. And then when he meets the rest of the Inhumans, he's like, what's everybody's name? Or what's everybody's superhero name? They give him like a bunch of weird ones, and he's like, those are not superhero names. He talks to Flint, and he's like, what's your name? He's like, my name is Flint. He's like, you should have picked a better name like Rockslide or Quake or something like that. But I like Flint. Anyways, and he runs away, and he's like, well, I'm not even going to remember those names anyways. And it's just a whole bunch of gag from Spider-Man, even though he's fighting all the bad guys and things like that, and everybody's like, he's just cracking jokes, and everybody's like, can you please shut up? And that's how it is. I love it like that. I don't remember Amazing Spider-Man being like that, or haven't seen him like that in a while. So it's cool to see him in the book, and he's just cracking jokes and making fun of things. I had fun, like I said, just like the Action Comics. I had fun reading it, and I was cracking up throughout the whole time. I was just like cracking. I was reading it. It was a pretty big book too, and I was reading it. And at the end, of course, they're fighting against some guy named Raven or something. I don't remember what his name was, and he's pretty powerful. So he's kind of messing them up. Hopefully, we get to see the next issue, and hopefully soon, because I'm a big fan of the special at least. So pretty cool stuff. And last but not least, it is Miss Marvel issue 13. Of course, in this issue, she's being trained by Medusa. It's kind of her off-time kind of deal where she goes and trains with Medusa and the Inhumans. to become stronger. Remember, you said before, she didn't really want to be trained, but as right now, you know, she needs to be. And I love it, and that's pretty cool to see how she developed as a character who really didn't know what she was doing at first, and then, you know, and slowly it's, you know, building her up, and now she's gotten better, and now she is better. This is the scene where she kind of falls in love with this other boy, and then, you know, and then she gets attacked by what's some other inhuman who shoots out electricity. I don't remember what her name was, and she actually beats him pretty quick because with all her training is finally paid off, and I just love that how she goes from, you know, like I said, being pretty much not knowing anything about her powers and just kind of figuring it out in Rocky style, and, you know, training and montages and all that for her to become now stronger. And now she is stronger. We'll see how strong she can be, or how strong she can get. And she's like, and she's pretty cool. Now she's you know, she could make her fist big, and she just knocked her out in one hit, and she's like, is she dead? Or everybody's like, I think she's, you know, I think she's still alive, and it's pretty funny like that. And then you figure out that, spoiler, the boy that she likes, or she was kind of on like a date with, figure out that he kind of told her that he's also inhuman. So pretty cool stuff. Like I said, Miss Marvel to me has always been a really good book. I champion that book to death. If anybody asks me, you know, what's a good, you know, book to read, I'm like, Miss Marvel is probably the best book they have out right now. And it's pretty cool. Like I said, I just like seeing how she develops as a character, as, you know, all the trials she's gone through. You know, we've seen Spider-Man through all his trials. It kind of gets old for me a little bit as a Spider-Man fan. You know, him always kind of messing things up as always, and you know, his always has some kind of bad karma around him, and it's cool to see Miss Marvel kind of train herself up from not being that great of a superhero, to being, and then also she also has her life, her real life, which was Kamala, and then you know, how she trains up to become somebody stronger, somebody who people can rely on. So I'm a big fan of that. So anyways, that is all for this week. And like I said, I didn't have too much to go through, so as usual, I want to keep it nice and short. I mean, this might be a little longer than I thought it would be, but I want to keep these books going, you know, fast paced, and just talk about the last three books, go a little more details about them. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully you guys will come back next week when I get some more comic books. Anyways, I'll see everybody next time.